Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you landed a new job. That is awesome. Major congratulations. But before you start celebrating, there's that one piece of paper, right? The appointment letter. It's exciting, but let's be real, it can also be a little bit intimidating. Today, we're going to break it all down, piece by piece, so you can sign on that dotted line with total confidence. Let's jump in.
You know, getting that offer feels like you've crossed the finish line. But what comes next is just as important. You get this formal document, and it's full of words like CTC, probation, service agreement. It's easy to just skim it and sign, but hold on. Understanding what you're actually signing is your first big power move in your new career.
So let's talk about the biggest surprise for almost everyone. You see this big, flashy number, say 6 lakhs per year. You do the quick math in your head. Okay, that's 50,000 a month. Sweet. But then your first salary comes in and it's closer to 42,000? Wait, what happened? Where did the rest of it go? That right there is the huge difference between your CTC and your in-hand salary. And it's what we need to talk about first.
All right, let's pull back the curtain on that big offer number. We're going to get into the real story of what it's made of, and maybe more importantly, what it actually means for what you can spend and save each month. So that big number, it's your CTC, which stands for cost to company. And the name really says it all. It's not what you get, it's the total cost for the company to hire you. It includes your base salary, sure, but it's also packed with all the other stuff they pay for, like their part of your retirement fund, your health insurance, and sometimes even a bonus that you might or might not get. And here's what that looks like. This chart shows how that CTC gets all sliced up. See that? A huge chunk, sometimes like 30%, never even makes it to your bank account. It's already been set aside for things like your Provident Fund, which is basically a retirement savings account, plus taxes, insurance, and yeah, that potential bonus we talked about. What's left over? That's your real take-home pay. Which brings me to the number one thing you absolutely have to do. Before you say yes, always ask HR for a detailed salary breakup. This isn't being difficult, it's just being smart. It's the only way you'll know exactly what your monthly in-hand salary is going to be, so you can actually plan your budget from day one. Okay, now that we've cracked the code on salary, let's dive into the fine print. You know, all the legal stuff. The clauses that are going to define your job, your rights, and what the company expects from you. You're pretty much guaranteed to see something called a probation period. So what is it? Think of it like a trial run, usually for about 3 to 6 months. During this time, your job isn't quite permanent yet. It means both you and the company can decide to part ways with a much shorter notice period. It's also worth knowing that some of the perks, like maybe full health benefits, might not even kick in until after you're confirmed. Next up, the notice period. This is how long you have to keep working after you hand in your resignation. It's usually somewhere between 1 and 3 months. Now you might be thinking, why does this matter now? Well, a really long notice period can actually make it tricky to accept a new job offer down the line. It's a small detail now that can have a big impact later. Now, this one is super important. Some companies will include a service agreement or a bond. What this means, in plain English, is if you decide to leave before a certain date, like, say, 2 years, you could be on the hook to pay a pretty hefty penalty. You have to read these clauses very, very carefully and understand exactly what you're signing up for. And let's not skip over the basics. First, is your job role clearly defined? Vague descriptions are a bad sign. Second, look out for any phrases like subject to transfer, because that could mean they can ask you to move to another city. And finally, in this day and age, make sure your work arrangement, whether it's fully remote, hybrid, or in the office, is spelled out crystal clear. Okay, we've tackled the money and the legal stuff. Now let's talk about the good stuff. The perks. Your benefits package is a huge part of your total compensation, so let's make sure you know what to look for. Make sure the essentials are covered. Does it mention your Provident Fund? What about health insurance? And does it cover your family too? How many days of paid leave do you get? And for bonuses, you have to ask the big question. Is it guaranteed or is it based on performance? Because trust me, there's a world of difference between the two. And it's so important to think about these benefits the right way. They are not just nice little extras. They have real financial value. They're a core part of your compensation package, and you should understand them just as well as you understand your salary. All right, we've gone through what a good offer letter should have. Now let's flip it. What shouldn't it have? It's time to talk red flags, the warning signs that you absolutely, positively cannot ignore.
Okay, so be on the lookout for a really vague job description or crazy clauses like being available 24/7. If a huge chunk of your salary is called variable pay, be careful. That means less guaranteed money in your pocket. And this one is a biggie. If they promise you the world verbally but won't put it in writing, that is a massive red flag. And please, never ever resign from your current job until you have that final written offer letter in your hands.
So you've read through the offer, you've checked for any red flags, and you're feeling pretty good about it. Awesome. Before you actually sign, let's just do a quick final run-through, a little checklist to make sure you've covered all your bases. Let's just quickly recap the action plan. 1. Get that detailed CTC breakup. 2. Read every single word, no skipping. 3. Make sure all those verbal promises are actually in the letter. 4. When you're comparing offers, always compare the in-hand salary, not the CTC. And finally, number 5, once it's signed, save a copy digitally and keep a physical one too. This document is a big deal.
And that all leads to the golden rule. If you remember nothing else, remember this. If it's not written in the offer, it is not official. Simple as that. Your career is a marathon, not a sprint, and this first step really sets the pace. So start it off right, be informed, ask the smart questions, and sign that letter feeling completely in control. Congratulations again, and good luck. You are gonna crush it.